It's international ration review time. We have a Spanish Armed Forces individual combat ration lunch B5. This ration was sent to me by the awesome Dub C, who is a fellow ration reviewer and has a great channel of his own. If you want to check that out, I will link it down in the description. This is a NATO approved ration, single meal. We have a date on it down here at the bottom, December 2017. Maybe we'll find out more as we get into it, so let's go ahead and do that. I have a Spanish set-me bayonet. This particular bayonet works on both the roller delayed set-me rifle and also Spanish FR8 Mausers. I purchased this one for about $10, probably 12 or 15 years ago. They're definitely more expensive than that now. I think we'll use that to cut into our ration here. I do intend to display this box and bag, so I don't want to tear it up too bad. So we have our internal box there. Slide that out. The bag itself is a very thin, sort of crinkly plastic material, but is a lovely OD type color. And the internal box is also some variation of olive drab. Doesn't seem to be any kind of markings or anything on it. We have a leaflet right on top there. This appears to be a contents list, instructions for using the included stove, and it looks like all that same info in several languages. And we do have a little bit of English on this one. Ministry of Defense, individual combat ration, and it looks like it is just a warning to make sure you check the contents before you consume them, and when in doubt, to report irregularities to a superior, and it's better not to eat suspect items. Looks like the first thing on top there is a 20-gram package of vegetable soup, a very thin package of fluoride toothpaste. That's a pretty unique ration item. Very few countries include dental hygiene items of that nature. A small package of hand sanitizer, a single little package chewing gum, 4 5-gram packages of isotonic dust. I've seen these consumed as a drink, or you just down the powder as you would an old school salt tablet. Looks like they provide 3 Esbit style fuel tablets. Those are emitting that very characteristic fishy smell. A pack of matches that look very similar to a US MRE match pack. And we're finally down to our cans. This first one is 190 grams, green beans with ham. A 190 gram tin of peaches in syrup. Yeah, this is what I wanted to try more than anything in this ration. A 115 gram tin of squid, and a 70 gram tin of pork pate. No crackers or anything in this to enjoy that pate with. Looks like a nice little pack of napkins, 2 water purification tablets, and finally, a pretty sturdy feeling, foldable Esbit style stove. Let's get this stuff plated up and start trying it out. I love the color of everything. It's this awesome military green. Can't go wrong with that. So the contents ended up filling up the tray pretty good. Seems like the actual food content in this is decent. I do want to try out the Spanish fuel tabs and stove, so let's give this stove a try. Going by our directions, we fold these 2 pieces down, one on either side, and then we fold this other part up, and fold these little tabs in. And that did seem to make a pretty decent little stove. The stability feels real nice. So with that stove, we'll be heating the tin of green beans and ham. However, the side with the pull tab doesn't have any writing on it, and the side without the pull tab does. I don't want to ruin this by heating it, so I think I will use my Dutch mess kit for this. These cans have awesome little ring pulls on them, and the date on pretty much everything is December 2017, so the only thing I can think of is that was the packaging date. At this point, we made this ration a little less than 3 years old. That was easy to pop. Let's pull that back. Look at those green beans. Looks like mostly all beans. Get a smell of that. Ooh, that smells good though. Has a very porky smell to it. I'm a green bean fan anyway. Wow, that smells great. It smells kind of garlicky. Good. All right, so let's get that into our mess kit here. It does appear to be predominantly green beans with just a little bit of ham flakes distributed throughout. This is sure to make for a very tasty dish though. You can't go wrong with vegetables and pork fat. Hopefully this doesn't burn. I'll pop one of these fuel tabs out. I'm guessing one will be enough. These fuel tabs are actually Esbit branded. That's pretty cool. And they do not smell good at all. And we'll give the included matches a shot. Well, it struck easily. See how it does for catching this thing on fire. It's discoloring it, but I don't know that it's caught yet. I'm gonna put another one on it. We'll see if that does any better. That one appears to be pretty much dying out as well. Try another. I usually try to come into a fuel tab from the side because I find that that usually does the best job of lighting them. So it looks like 4 matches for 1 tab, but I think we're lit. Oh yeah, it's going good. So we'll get our green beans on top of that. Let's check out a couple of these isotonic powders. I couldn't find anything on this on how it's actually supposed to be prepared or consumed, so I just truly don't know. Just look at the powder in the pack there. It's very white. Has a slight citrus smell, sort of a citric acid going on. Pour that in the glass. I'm gonna try it with water. I think I'll do 2 of them. That was the recommended dosage. I could get that part to translate. We got the contents of 2 powders there, and I'm just gonna eyeball some water because I truly don't know how much to put in here. That looks like a decent amount for that amount of powder. Give that a quick stir. There's certainly some chunks in there. It's not the best at dissolving, but it at least looks like a drink now. The green beans are starting to all put a really nice aroma. I think I'll give them a quick stir just to make sure nothing's burning. Next thing we'll take a look at is the vegetable soup. The package is sort of a plastic and foil lined little pouch. Seems to be some croutons in there. Add that to this glass. Again, I couldn't determine exactly how much water this should be prepared with. I saw something on there that looked like 200 mils though, so I think that's what we're gonna try. I have a pre-measured 200 mils of screaming hot water. Green in complexion, has flakes of spices distributed throughout it looks like. It has some chunks that have settled in the bottom, and then you have all your croutons floating on top. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a taste. Those croutons need another little bit to rehydrate. They're just slightly crunchy. But the flavor on this is good. It's quite salty, but it's rich and flavorful and warm. That is good. I'm catching little flakes of vegetables in it, like I just crunched on what felt like a little piece of onion. It thickened the water up just a little bit as well. That is very tasty. Perfect sodium on that. Exactly what you need if you're gonna be super active. Comforting. The predominant flavor from this is onion in my opinion. Looks like just one little shot of that left. And that last little bite had all kinds of little vegetable crunches in it. That was good. See how the fuel tab's doing? It's still burning nicely. I think I'll check out this pate next. It's kind of unfortunate I don't have any crackers or anything to eat this with. Oh, look at that. It squirted out as soon as I popped the top. This can might just be ever so slightly bulged. I'm gonna have to really pay attention to this before I eat it. For it coming out like that, under pressure, that's a little bit concerning. There's a look at it. Very smooth. Give that a smell. Smells like any old potted meat. Nothing foul or worrisome as far as the aroma goes. In several places in the translation, it says something about peppers, and I think it was referring to black pepper because this does seem to have quite a bit of black pepper in it. Let's get our spoon and just go ahead and scoop out a lump of that. This was 30% pork liver, so I'm expecting a pretty heavy liver flavor. Let's give that a taste. One of the more liver tasting pates I've had. It's smooth and creamy. It would be the perfect spread for some crackers. The flavor's good, but you have to be okay with liver to enjoy this. Personally, I'm not a huge liver fan, but in pate form, I can cope with it. That's a big spoonful there. Well, I'm not really getting any of that pepperiness that the name suggested. And as far as other flavors go, there's not much to it. It's just sort of creamy and livery. A decent snack if you're into that kind of thing. But I think it would really shine if you had some crackers or something to put that on. I think our isotonic beverage needs another stir. It's sort of settled in the bottom there. I'm definitely weary about this stuff. Let's give it a try. And that's not nearly as bad as people have said it is. It is sort of salty and has sort of a vitamin powder sort of flavor. It has a very slight hint of citrus. It actually reminds me a lot of the drink I had in the Chinese PLA ration that I reviewed. I'm just drinking that way too fast. With all that salt, that will certainly help keep you hydrated. Fuel tab's still burning away nicely. Give the beans a quick stir there. For me, these squid is really the main event. I've wanted to try this ever since the very first review I saw these in. Another ring pull on this one. A little bit of juice coming to the top. See if we can pull that off. Oh, look at that. Try to pull that back without making a big mess. It's certainly oily, sort of watery in there. The smell right away is pungently fishy, almost sardine-esque. Plop a couple of these out onto the tray here. I love calamari. I've never had squid in this form though. Look at that weird thing, holy crap. It looks like there's 3 of them in here. They're all pretty good size. There's some little tentacles on that one. I'll set that oily liquid to the side. If these turn out good, I might just go ahead and drink that. Let's do a little bit of a dissection here and see what these guys are all about. They do cut easily with the spoon here, so they're nice and tender. There's your outside of the body. And they have a very interesting inside. Whatever this is, looks like some kind of skeletal piece or something. And then all kinds of little entrails. Yeah, those just look like innards. This one here still had its little body part attached. It has the tentacles with the little suckers on it. Let's just go ahead and give that a taste. It was chewy, briny, taste of the sea. Oh man. That was freaking awesome. I need a bigger piece of just the sort of outside tubular meat section. It is nice and tender. I figured it'd be more chewy. You get that with squid sometimes. There's a little bit of grit in this, almost like you were eating a clam that wasn't all the way clean, sort of a sandy texture to it. That's a little bit off-putting, but the flavor of this is outstanding. The oil it's in is very good. The texture really couldn't be better, in my opinion. And it just tastes like the ocean. This is something that if they were available for purchase, I'd stock up on these just for normal consumption. Let's try this weird piece with that sort of odd skeletal part. Semi-crunchy, very similar to eating the peel of a shrimp. This piece is a cross-section of both the innards and the outards of the squid. And that's the best yet. And I can definitely see if someone is squeamish, they might not like this. It's sort of a very odd kind of graphic food, but the Spanish know what's good. These are great and keto friendly too. The only thing about the squid that I'm not digging is it's also like eating sand as you're eating it. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know if that's because their little innards were not properly cleaned or what, but that's definitely the least good thing about eating these. Last bite, down the hatch. Oh yeah, that was everything I could have hoped and even better. The only thing I would do to fix it is try to get rid of some of that sand because now I'm feeling it all gritty in my teeth and I'm not a fan of that. The beans are over here bubbling away, so I think they finally reached the proper heat. I can actually feel the heat in the handle of my mess tin. So even though that fuel tab is still burning, I think these are good to go. Let's check out what temperature they made it to before we go and eat them. 150, 140. To me, that is a perfect eating temperature. If your food can make it to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, you're doing really well. I got a little bit of everything in that spoonful. We can see the pieces of the ham there. A lot of green beans. Let's give that a taste. Oh yeah. Now guys, I'm from the South. If you didn't know already, green beans and pork is a classic Southern dish, and that is 100% what this tastes like to me. That juice is rich and slightly creamy. The ham is oddly a little bit chewy. And something like this, I would expect it to be more soft and sort of fall apart. The consistency is almost that of jerky, which is a little odd. This could be a cured ham as opposed to going in there raw. That might be why it's sort of jerky-like. But again, this has a good salt level to it. For a vegetable dish, it's very rich. It's not as good as Grandma makes, but coming out of a can, it's hard to beat this. Well, heck, I've eaten almost all this. Other than the flavor of the pork and the beans, there's not really much else to this. It's very naturally flavored, it tastes like. And for me, that's perfectly fine. The last food item to take a look at is gonna be our peaches and syrup. I haven't had canned peaches in a long time. Ooh, look at those. They look like peach quarters, maybe? Oh, they're peach halves. Look at that, it's a huge peach half. There's one, there's two, there's three. Now in the bottom of this tin, you can see some discoloration. I've only seen that with really old canned products. That almost looks like busting into an MCI or something like that. This doesn't smell very metallic though, so I think everything's okay. I mean, I've eaten canned food out of the pantry that looks like that before, and it's been fine. There was no bulging or anything to this can, so I'm not worried about botulism. But usually when you start seeing that, they're getting ready to start tasting like metal. Hopefully they haven't made it to that point yet. Let's cut one of these halves into a quarter. Here's a look at it on the spoon there. Very soft. Give that a taste. Just your standard canned peach. Sweet, very soft, sort of just melts away in your mouth. Luckily, no metal flavor yet. It's still very good. There's a lot of this thick sugar syrup in here. Look how that's coming off the spoon. Very thick. I think I'm just gonna drink that as is. It's so thick it sort of coats your mouth. I mean, it has that awesome peach essence to it. Oh man, if you have some kind of confection, you could pour that over it and it would be outstanding. It's so sweet, it's almost like candy. I think I'm gonna see if I can fit this half all in one bite. Almost, that little piece fell off. That was a great way to cap off the meal. You forget sometimes how comforting something as simple as canned fruit can be. Well, since I didn't use it before, guess we'll try out our hand sanitizer. Just enough for one use in there. Has sort of a alcohol / detergent type smell. Rub that in. It's very slick, but seems to be evaporating very quickly. The smell of that is very pleasant, actually. Yeah, very clean, and my hands actually feel really soft now. I guess we're gonna do something I've never done in a review before, and that's brush my teeth, since they do include some toothpaste. Squeeze some of that up to the top so we can get a look at it. Oh, it's a white paste. I have my toothbrush here, and we'll squeeze that on. That's an ample amount for one toothbrushing. It smells like peppermint. Let's give that a shot. Well, that foams up fantastically. The flavor is spot on. That is some really excellent toothpaste. Super surprising coming out of a military ration. I was not expecting anything that good. Wow, that is the most refreshed my mouth has ever felt after a review. Hopefully that doesn't mess too much with the last item to try, and that's gonna be our gum. Looks like one thick and fat briquette. Give that a bite. It's nice and soft. Has a pretty strong mint flavor. Strong enough to where it's overtaking that of the toothpaste. It's a large enough piece of gum to where it actually feels pretty substantial as you're chewing on it. That's about as good as it gets as far as ration gum goes. Whew, well, that was an experience. Spanish Armed Forces, individual combat ration, lunch, B5. Oh man, that was a fantastic ration meal. Dub C, You really hooked me up on this one. Again, if you like my channel, I'm almost certain you'll like his channel as well, so check it out down in the description. He does some awesome videos of his own. Everything in this ration was excellent, flavor-wise. I even liked these weird little isotonic drinks. The pate, although not bad, doesn't really match the other items that well. So that's my one small criticism of this very good ration. The squid is something I like to get my hands on again at some point. The Spanish military are really doing the soldiers right with this. It's most certainly world-class for a single meal ration. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This has been Ration Rewind, the series in which I'm reposting my old ration reviews from my first YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to help it out with that Google algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch all of my future ration content. This is the one-stop shop for MRE related content, old and new, foreign and domestic, military and commercial. We do it all here on Readiness Rations. Be sure to drop me a comment and check out my social links down in the description of this video, and I will be back with a new video for you guys next week. Until then, I will catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace.